This is part 2 of the unit of Living a Spiritual Life, Unit 8, Obligatory Prayer. We ended the last video presentation with the short obligatory prayer, which is to be recited once in 24 hours at noon. It goes, I bear witness, O my God, that Thou hast created me to know Thee and to worship Thee. I testify at this moment to my powerlessness and to Thy might, and to my poverty and to Thy wealth. There is none other God but Thee, the help in peril, the self-subsisting. This is one of the 3 obligatory prayers. It's the short of the noonday prayer. It's to be said by an individual in private and after ablutions and facing the shrine of Baha'u'llah. I'm going to finish off. This is the part 2. There are some other obligations you should know about. One is the saying of the greatest name, Allah, which means God is most glorious, 95 times a day while sitting. And like the obligatory prayers, ablutions are to be done before you do this, and you are to face the Qibla while you say this. Also, some people say the 95 greatest names right after they do their obligatory prayer, especially the medium and the long, which the last section is having you sitting already. I'm going to close off here with a concluding exercise. And this is to try and help you consolidate and assess your learning in this module. So I want you to first try to answer from memory, and then to go back to the presentation, part 1, and look through that, or if you're on my website, to look at the PowerPoint or the text of this presentation, and see if you can answer these. So you can add more of your own as you review the program and reflect on your own learning and experience. First, these are the questions I'm going to be asking you to think about. And so this would be a good time to stop, pause here, and get a piece of paper. See if you can write down, see if you can get the answers, because immediately after this slide, I'm going to be presenting the questions and the answers. So it's for your best learning, it's going to help you to stop. First question, how many obligatory prayers are there? 3, long, medium, short. There is also a prayer for the dead, but it's the only Baha'i congregational prayer. It is an obligation, but it's only said at a person's funeral normally. The saying of the greatest name 95 times is considered an obligation, but it's not considered an obligatory prayer. Who should say them? As we talked about before, children who are over age of 15, all except the people mentioned in this slide, basically. Question number 3, what is their importance? We've talked about this before. Greater effectiveness and potency. It's the most important kind of prayer. It develops humility and devotion. It's a personal spiritual obligation with rewards and penalties, and you acquire bounties and confirmations. Number 4, what are the 2 requirements for saying the obligatory prayer? One is to be preceded by ablutions, which is cleaning of hands and face, and the other is to turn toward the Kaaba, which is the shrine of Baha'u'llah. And finally, there are certain prescribed times and movements that go with these prayers. What goal can you set related to obligatory prayers? And I would like you to set goals. This is going to be important for spiritual development, living a spiritual life. If you're not saying one, then you should say one at least daily. It might be easiest to start with the short or the noonday prayer. My advice is to memorize one if you haven't already. If you are saying one, and I would encourage you to try and say all 3. As I mentioned before, you need to practice them. It takes some while getting used to them, becoming comfortable with them. So give yourself some time and some practice to do that. Wherever you're at, whatever your level of spiritual development, you can always acquire deeper and more pure-hearted devotion. You can also help others to appreciate the importance of obligatory prayer, and you can study and read more about them. So, where can you find more information and study about it? Here they are, and so you can click on these and it will give you the information you're looking for. And finally, there are some assignments. There is the compilation we referred to earlier on the importance of obligatory prayer and fasting, and the the Universal House of Justice has stated in the introduction of that it is imperative for all Baha'is to deepen their awareness of the blessings conferred by the laws which directly foster the devotional life of the individuals and thus of the community. Among these is obligatory prayer and fasting, which Baha'u'llah, or the Blessed Beauty, has characterized as the two wings to man's life. Another assignment is this practice. I'd asked you to set goals, and now I'm asking you to practice. Say at least one daily, say with more pure-hearted, memorize more of them, and say all three sometime in the next week. And finally, once you've finished with this, you may proceed to the next module reading. And I've included here where you can get information on this particular presentation, a link to it, so you also can see that in the description. So thank you. I hope you're enjoying, and we will check with you in the next module.